Cardano supporters, something special coming in November. It's not clickbait either. We're gonna talk about it in a minute. These are the 6-hour charts, everybody. Some potential bullish divergence I really want to talk about. We're gonna dive into the technical analysis aspect on the short term. Kind of ties into what we've been tracking on the daily chart and what we've been anticipating to the short term upside. So we're really gonna track that. The title is not clickbait. This is Charles tweeted, something special is coming in November. And you can go through this thread on Twitter. There's a lot of speculation. I'm not going to sit here and speculate what's going on. We've done that before. But I can tell you this. When it comes to something special coming in November, what I like about Cardano is this. Why I'm bullish on Cardano is this. There's always something special coming. And yeah, this is a tweet by Charles talking about November. But how long have we been tracking these charts, the zoomed out weekly charts? How long have we been tracking? You know, we do a lot of technical analysis, but we've been tracking the fundamentals. We've been tracking the upgrades, these hard fork events. We see Shelley, right? The Shelley hard fork staking mechanism, the multi-asset ledger with Mary, smart contracts, most recently the Vassal hard fork. And we've been tracking this. And all of these things I can certainly say are special. And as a value investor for this now, especially in the middle of this bear market, undervalued cryptocurrency, these are the things that really draw me. These are the things that catch my attention. So it's really fun to kind of try and guess what Charles is alluding to, what he's talking about, maybe what the team is working on. Maybe it's a deal, maybe it's a partnership, there's so many different speculations. You can go to the Twitter thread, you can track it for yourself. Doesn't really matter to me. What matters to me is that's just an ongoing piece of the Cardano story. And that's kind of one of the things that makes Cardano special. There's always something special that is in store, and Cardano is actually delivering on that. And that is all backed by research. That is all backed by, a scientific approach to building this blockchain. I like that. As a value investor, I really like that. And so it's cool to see this tweet. It's cool to see something else in the works, and it'll be interesting to see what else. But check this out. This was a tweet. I came across this tweet. This is Lucid over here on Twitter. FTX, one of the largest exchanges in the world, won't list ADA because they view Cardano as a threat to everything they want to control. The reason that they hate Cardano is the same reason why I love Cardano and will always be involved in the community. I like this because this brings up an important part, and you're seeing a lot. And this put aside everything you're seeing about FTX right now. I'm not even touching on that. I'm not going down that road. I want to talk about this bit of news. But what I like about this tweet is, they're tweeting about this fundamental disdain towards something as decentralized as Cardano, right? And this narrative that maybe there's just this hate for Cardano, right? Because of what they're building. And this is being geared towards an exchange. What I like is that it created a dialogue now. Like, it's not just an opinion. It's not just a narrative. It's not just something that people are saying. It created a dialogue. And I like that. I'm so sick of the drama in crypto. And that's why I'm not even gonna talk about it. I just like dialogue. Let's put the stuff on the table and talk about it. And so SBF, CEO of FTX, he said, definitely not the case. We have listed internationally. Adding spot ADA 2 is on our roadmap. Some people have an issue with that. It's like, how long is it going to be on the roadmap for? Like, how many exchanges have ADA? What's so difficult? You're a top 3 exchange, right? I get that mindset. And they replied, Lucid replied, said, I really hope you intend to follow through with what you just said. This person said, curious if you will finally get ADA listed on FTX. And SBF said, we will. So ADA getting listed on FTX, going to happen, right? I guess we can assume that. The reason why I would say it's big news, right? If you're out of the politics of crypto, which I very much am, I don't have the mental capacity to be involved in that and to get involved in that. I don't have the mental capacity. It's not, I don't have the interest. It's crypto. And this is FTX, a top 3 exchange. And so it's a big deal, right? The 24-hour volume, $677 million. And so I think it's a big deal for ADA to be listed on FTX, and it's a good thing, right? And so I think it's a big piece of news. The other thing is, on this thread, you can just see, and this is something that just generally gets me bullish on ADA. SBF said it's not intentional. Tokens that are on blockchains we already support are easier, so the ERC20, et cetera, tokens come almost automatically. But yeah, we still have to make sure we have good Cardano validator parsing for deposits withdrawals. And I love how Patrick over here comes in, and he's a startup builder on the Cardano blockchain, right? Steps in. If you need assistance in integrating Cardano and Cardano native tokens, feel free to DM me. And Lucid says Patrick's Cardano native asset master. So it's like, I love just, you know, people from the Cardano ecosystem that are building, kind of interacting with a top 3 exchange to get ADA listed. I love that progress. I really do. And ADA has been ignored for a very long time. It's kind of maybe been on roadmaps. It's kind of maybe been on the back of people's minds and huge, large companies. And even right now, institutional, you know, investors and things, maybe it's on the back of their mind. But I'm telling you, everybody, ADA is going to, and I've been saying this for a very long time, and we're actually starting to see it. ADA is going to start getting a lot of attention. And I'm just saying, and I know it's like, it's hype. It seems like hype as I tweet these things and talk about these things for a very long time now on the YouTube channel. But when I say there's a massive shift coming to Cardano, I say that it sounds hype. It sounds clickbait, but it's just generally my opinion. Like, this is what I think is really going to happen. And I'm telling you, I see the snowball taking effect. The snowball just building into this massive ball rolling down a mountain, and ADA kind of doing that in my opinion. So this is ADA on the 6-hour chart. And I want to start, before we even dive into this piece of the chart, I just want to start with a video from October 17th, lay some groundwork. Very, very quick. We've broken down, we know, and we talk about so often, and this is where I am right now in the shorter term, just this pullback. This is potentially what could happen. This is what I'm anticipating, a pullback to this entire area, 50 days. That's what I'm talking about. Those pullbacks, they're so commonplace. And I want to say, this is my view. This is how I view the charts. This is my opinion. This isn't like I'm guaranteeing this is going to happen, or just saying that, hey, this is how it always happens. This is how I see it happen a lot. And so this is what I'm tracking right now. And I'm telling you, these pullbacks, we break through these trend lines, pullbacks to the area, same to the upside, throwbacks to the apex and those trend lines. So we've been talking about that. We have to give it some time, right? We have to allow this to consolidate. But the point of a pullback would be this. We're getting that pullback before ADA actually continues down to like its target, right? Before it actually capitulates to its target. We're getting kind of this last test of the bulls to at least the trend line. And then from there, maybe somebody more conservative, if somebody's trading this, what they would do is they'd wait and they say, okay, well, is there going to be a second piece of resistance at this trend line, right? Are the bears going to step in and pull it down? And that's kind of a more conservative entry to short, you know, something like Cardano. And I'm not saying that as financial advice, everybody, but this is kind of how somebody would play this setup. But for me, I like to just, because I'm watching the short-term charts, anticipate these things. I like to anticipate these moves. You all know I'm waiting for some type of capitulation, whether it's in the short term or it's just in the longer term. So I'm always tracking these moves, especially when we get these bearish breaks to the downside. You know, we've been tracking Bitcoin charts. We see what's happening there. So it's important for me to track all of these charts kind of together to get an idea of what's going to happen next, so I'm prepared. Meaning, if Bitcoin capitulates here, then guess what? ADA likely on this chart going to go down to hitting its target, and I want to be prepared for that, for, you know, accumulation reasons and for just a macro mindset reason. And that's how I'm viewing things. But at the same time, I'm waiting. And because we know pullbacks happen so often, I'm seeing if that will happen. Now, the 6-hour chart is kind of what ties into that story. And I mentioned that in the intro of the video, and this is what it looks like. On the 6-hour, you can just see we have kind of these swing lows, this lower low here, and then kind of this bounce to the upside. So it's basically this lower trend line here. And if you go to the 6-hour RSI, you can see what's happening. So we have a low, and we get a lower low. But on the RSI, we actually have a low, and then we have a higher low. So this is bullish divergence. And any time that we see something like this happen on a 6-hour, a daily, a weekly chart, it's important, at least for me, to kind of raise an eyebrow and start watching for some type of breakout. And this is a 6-hour chart, right? So a breakout could happen in the immediate short term. It's not guaranteed to happen, but it's now on my radar. And a good example would be this. And a couple of points I want to make about this. Back here, you have a very similar thing. And this was back in August. You have this swing low, and then you have this kind of lower low here. At the same time, we had a swing low, and then we had a higher low. So we had bullish divergence there. And what did ADA do? If we look at that chart, ADA made kind of this run to the upside from this swing low touch, this second touch, and 20% plus move to the upside. Right now, if we look at ADA on this chart, what would this be? If it ultimately did break up, we have 30% to the upside to test this lower trend line. Not saying it's going to happen. We go to the daily chart. What else is there, right? From where ADA had this previous swing low, we have the 20-day moving average, which we're always talking about revisiting, right? 16%. The 50-day moving average, 30%. And there's that lower trend line pretty much confluent with that, just above it, 33%. So we have this case for ADA to not only get pulled back to this lower trend line, but just at the very least test these areas, right? And it very well could happen because when we're looking at, this is a daily chart, 20-day moving average, ADA just being kind of just pushed down by it, kind of falling and getting separation from it, getting this pullback to the 20-day moving average. It's something we see so often. And in this entire bear market, you can just zoom out on a daily chart and you can just go look, right? Falling away from the 20-day moving average, the green line, and then getting pulled back into the green line to either break it and test the 50 or to basically test it like right here, pulled back in and fail, right? So it's just over and over again. You see ADA falling and just pulling back up, falling and pulling back up, falling and just kind of sideways and pulling back up, falling. It just keeps happening over and over again, right? So it's not even like rocket science to look at a chart. If you're zooming out and you're looking for historical patterns and consistencies and these repetitions on the charts, it's not rocket science at all. It's very easy. There's human behavior behind these charts. There's human emotions behind these charts. And while predicting these markets is not good, these data points and these consistencies, they help me anticipate moves. And I like that from a mental perspective because this game is very mental, especially in bear markets. It is like 99% mental. So that's what I'm watching right now on ADA. Right now is actually I record the video and I don't edit the video. So I'm going to upload this fairly quickly. You can see right now we have a brand new daily candle. It's 8:01 p.m. right now Eastern, and we have a brand new candle. So it's going to be very interesting. I should have underlined this video at the very beginning. I should have prefaced this. This all depends on this chart right here. This is the S&P 500. It all depends on traditional markets. What happens tomorrow? There's big earnings this week. What's going to happen with these charts? Because if these charts don't see continued upside, right, and start at least, S&P 500 testing the 50-day moving average here, if they just open red tomorrow, it's not going to be good for this ADA chart, right? So we talk about potential upside. We talk about that pullback. But guess what? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what Bitcoin's doing. It doesn't matter what kind of bullish news there is for ADA. If traditional markets are down, ADA likely going to be falling and very likely could put in another low. Test this trend line down here in the 30 to 32 cent area. So to the downside, I would say anticipate that as well. So a lot going on these ADA charts, but I'm just telling you, everybody, put aside Charles' tweet about something special happening in November. I really think there's just a lot of special things in play and in store for Cardano, besides whatever he's talking about. It'll be interesting to see what he's talking about. But the fact that there's so much in store and in play is one thing that makes me bullish. And, I was doing Bitcoin videos mainly, a lot of Bitcoin videos in the 2018 bear market. And it was just this, for me, this thought. And there was a lot of negativity towards crypto. It was just this thought that within that fear of 2018, towards the bear market lows, within that fear and against kind of that tide of negativity and the tide of people that were just like, crypto's done, it was my strong thought that was just like, we're just kind of getting started here. The opportunity here is so good, right? And we're talking like $4,000 Bitcoin range. And it went on to pretty crazy highs in the next bull market. And that same thought, I just kind of tie to Cardano and other altcoins. We're so early and there's so much negativity getting thrown towards ADA right now as it's kind of in this bear market. I get it. It's down like almost 90%. It is what it is though. Last bear market was down 98% ultimately. And look what happened. And now the technology, and I would say the special things that are on the way, it makes me bullish, everybody. So this is a 6-hour chart. It could go one way or another. The key is to be prepared. The key is to look at your situation, me to look at my situation, and we got to figure it out. We have to make our own decisions on how we're going to play this game. But I really think, I truly do, from my perspective, it's mental. So in the next day, overnight, I'm just going to be curious. What happens on this daily chart for ADA? Are we going to get this continued pullback to the trend line, even at the very least to test the 20-day moving average around 38 cents, 50-day moving average around 43 cents? That's what I'll be watching. And it'll be very interesting to see what happens this week. So I appreciate you. If you're still with me in this bear market, hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video.